that's a step that.
Wow.
That is one of several steps that I would push for. I still think we should make this a public utility and not a private for-profit company.
Thank you.
And
when you're governor, you will do that.
I will push like crazy for that. But then being willing to do the testing to see whether just to give the public answers about this, that is the least we can do. But that is absolutely the kind of thing that we should do, the kind of step that should be taken. And again, if I run a campaign like everybody else runs these campaigns, and I take a bunch of money from these big money interests, and then I tell you, but when elected, I'll work for campaign finance reform, or when I'm elected, I'll act like I acted for those 20-some years when I was running the democracy campaign. I can't look you in the eye and tell you that, because I know what that big money does to decisions. And so the gamble I'm taking here is to say that if I'm elected, I am darn well going to be elected in a way that leaves me free of those big money interests and leaves me free to actually do the public's will. And be on the side of people who are concerned about these spending sprees on high voltage transmission lines, or are concerned about a gigantic factory feedlot in their backyard, or are concerned about the scar on the landscape from the sand mining and arsenic in their water. And right now, laws have been passed in our state saying that the local communities have no say. Over 130 laws have been made in Wisconsin since 2011, taking away local decision-making authority, tying the hands of local officials and saying, you don't get to have any say about these things. It ranges from shoreline development to school policy to the siting of sand mines or factory feedlots, on a breathtaking range of issues. Those in charge at the Capitol have said local communities don't get to decide these issues. It gets dictated from the Capitol. And why? Again, it's because those interests don't want to have to go around to 2,000 some different municipalities and try to influence local elected officials in all those communities. They would much rather just focus on influencing one governor and 132 members of the legislature, and if they got those people in their hip pocket, then they get what they want and they get to do as they please, and the voices of people at the community level are silenced. That's the condition that we have on our hands here. So, and again, one of the things that I would say about these transmission lines is that we have built unnecessary transmission capacity that has taken us from having some of the cheapest electricity in our region to some of the most expensive electricity in our region. And we've got to keep talking about that so that people understand that what is being done didn't have to be done. And what has been done actually is costing people every day on their electric bills, unnecessarily. So, you know, I would still like to put that genie back in the bottle and go back to the late 90s when I was saying this should be a public utility. And you know, I get grief sometimes from loyal Democrats because of work I did in the past that did shine light on behavior that did send some Democratic leaders to jail. But I have to say that Republican leaders went to jail too. You know, so it wasn't like I was picking on Democrats. I wasn't picking on Democrats, I was picking on corrupt behavior. And they were convicted in court of criminal misconduct in office. And I'm not going to stand up in front of any group and say that only Republicans know how to engage in misconduct in public office. If it's Democrats doing it, they have to be held to account as well. And so that's the kind of thing I've seen happen.